Hey, good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good evening.
Good night.
Fourth meal.
Peace to the gods.
Peace to the gods.
See what I'm saying?
Sadat X.
Yes, I'm here.
On Juan Epstein. Woohoo!
Yes.
What a treat, Syfe.
Is it?
I think so.
I don't know.
Why? What do you mean?
He owes me per diem.
Oh, yeah, I might owe some per diem money from back
2
then.
days.
So where does
From Loud.
is that? When did you do stuff for them? Oh, during Sadat's promo.
Poor
tour?
little Kim.
Okay.
Y'all want the knowledge?
Give us the knowledge.
To him.
I'm going to give you the knowledge.
Please do.
Before Little Kim, before that call came for Little Kim, the Sadat X call came. And I went on the road with my friend here, Sadat X.
Yep.
California. Boot camp, alcoholics.
Word.
And one more group. Boot camp, alcohol, exhibit.
Exhibit was there? Hell yeah. And what was KMD? Was that?
No,
they
it
wasn't
was
there.
like, you know who was there? Like Phil La Agony.
Yeah, Phil was there. I remember
people
Phil.
like that.
Mm-hmm.
And this is
No,
for
no.
Wild Cowboys time. This is album time.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess it was
For
solo,
Loud.
yeah.
Yep. For Loud during
Yep,
Wild
Loud, right,
Cowboys.
yep. And we went on this tour, like it was like this run in like middle of Cali. And I did like 2 or 3 shows, and for some reason got a call into the room and was told I had to go back home.
Why?
I don't know.
Why'd you fire Syfe?
I didn't do it. I think that was on Loud, man. I don't, because I was cool with it. You know what I'm saying? It was a strange run, though, because it was in the middle of Cali. And, you know, like, it wasn't L.A., and it wasn't, like, the Bay. It was just, like, a
Random
funny
middle.
part. Yeah.
No, I got fired in L.A., though.
You did?
I remember-
Yeah, it
you,
was
you
LA.
actually do any
That-
shows, though?
2.
You did 2 shows.
2. We stayed at the Montrose,
Yep.
because I still stay there to this day.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Every
of that.
time I walk in the lobby, I'm like, this is where Derek X. You know, the reason I say Derek X because when he checked in, you know, all week it was Sadat. But then I saw him checking at the hotel. And he's like, yeah, Derek Murphy.
all right, no question. That's right.
I said, oh, they use their real names.
So where do we start with Sadat, Syfe? What do you want to do here?
I'm telling you right now, I've told this to Pooh-Bah. I probably told you too. Brand Nubian is the reason why I am who I am. I'll tell you that right now. DJ-wise is Premier. And like, you know, Pete Rock. But knowledge-wise and what got me out of my just being boring and not into anything is Brand Nubian. With the knowledge they were spitting, alongside reading the autobiography of Malcolm X, is what changed my life at 15, 16 years old.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So Brand Nubian has always had a place. Plus, my mom used to deliver FedEx to Derek X. Derek Murphy.
When he was Derek Murphy.
Yeah, in New Rochelle.
Yep, New Row.
So
Is that where does the story start for you, Sadat?
Well, the story starts in the Bronx. You know, I'm right in the Bronx, Park Avenue, Melrose houses, Jackson houses. Then it went to New Rochelle. You know what I'm saying? Pops got a little better job, a little more money.
were you rapping in the Bronx? Or how
Yeah,
old were
yeah,
you?
well, when I was in the
No.
Bronx, when we moved to New Rochelle, I was about 11.
Okay.
So, you know, I was seeing it outside. You know, I was seeing Maine dudes and all, and I was trying to rap, and I got up to New Rochelle, and I thought I was going to be the only one rapping up there, and I got up there, and it was other people rhyming. I was like, oh, wow.
And so who were the people influencing you hip-hop wise at that point? Was it just the whole culture being around you?
The culture, but then, you know, I always been partial like the Grandmaster Caz. Like, I always been partial to the Cold Crush brothers, and particularly Caz. So that's basically my model. You know what I'm saying? If somebody said they modeled themselves after Sadat X, well, Sadat X modeled himself after Grandmaster Caz. That was always the one that I modeled and I followed the most. And to this day, I always tell him that when I see him. Mm-hmm.
And so where did it start getting serious for you with rap?
All right, well, it started getting serious. You know, I got up to New Rochelle. Then my pops bought me a little DJ set. And, you know, then Alamo moved up to New Rochelle because, first of all, Alamo Pops and my pops grew up together. I got baby pictures with Alamo.
Here we
you
go.
know what I'm saying?
Gem number 1.
You know, so, you know, we moved up there. I got a couple of turntables because my pops was tired of me scratching his joint up. And I had my little crew because first I was a DJ. I was DJ D-Rock. Then I was Kid Paradise. Then I started rhyming. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
The Alamo
names
was
aren't
DJ.
horrible.
Yeah,
Names aren't
yeah.
horrible.
Honestly,
No.
as far as we always bring up everyone's old names and laugh at them, those are pretty decent.
Yeah, that was a little something.
Kid Paradise is pretty old school.
Yeah, that was old school right there. And I started rhyming, man, and then going through the years and like through New Rochelle, it's big but not so big, you know. And you knew that the name around town was Grand Pooh-Bah. He was already out with Masters of Ceremony, so that was like you wanted to rhyme good to try to impress him. So we would rhyming good. And one day he was like, yo, I heard you rhyme.
He's at the store, so like, yo,
exactly.
who was at the store?
Exactly. Run over there and try to be rhyming incognito, but I knew that he was there or something.
He was the only one from New Rochelle?
It was him.
Who was the other people in Master Ceremony?
It was him. It was Doctor Who. And then even before that, Pooh was in a group called the Tray Bag MCs. That was their name, the Tray Bag MCs.
Yo, how long has Pooh been around?
No,
Yeah.
I think 83.
Yeah,
he's 83 years old.
Yeah, he's been around for a minute. He's been around, and like he was producing me and Jamar at one point, like as solo acts. Like we go to the studio, Jazzy J be like, yo, I can give y'all 3 o'clock in the morning to like 9 in the morning on a school day. Mm-hmm. So we would go and Pooh Bah do 4 hours with Jamar, 4 hours with me, and that went on for a while. Then one day we was in the studio and Jazzy J put on the beat, and all of us rhymed on it, and it went from there. Pooh Bah took it downtown. Pooh Bah got the man of a million schemes. So he went downtown, said he got somebody named Dante, and Dante told us to hold on for a minute. He was at Tommy Boy. He was going somewhere else. And it just basically rolled out like that. It was real quick.
What record was it, Brand Nubian?
The first joint we did, it was something that didn't even come on. I think it was I Ain't Going Out Like That. Oh. That was a joint that Jay put up there, and then we did the album.
So what about the name Brand Nubian?
Well, we was at that time. Remember, it was like that conscious time when everybody was wearing the beads and the
medallions.
I remember one time we had to drive around with Pooh Bah. He wanted this big wooden Martin Luther King head, so we had to drive around looking for that thing. But it came from there, like because we was Nubian, meaning black, meaning from Africa, and we was just thinking like that was our brand of music. So we just came up with Brand Nubian, and that was actually like one of the first names. It wasn't like a whole long thing. Like one day, and basically
amazing name.
Yeah, really.
Jamar and Pooh Bah, they thought of it. One day I just came and they was like, "Yo, we Brand Nubian." I was like, "All right, then we Brand Nubian."
That sounds pretty good. Y'all hit it on the head.
Mm-hmm.
Were you? How old is this?
This had to be. I was like 18, 19. Yep.
And how? Sorry, I just got to talk 5% a little. Like, how much knowledge were you getting at that time? Were you like fully in?
Yeah. Basically, I was fully in. Because that was a big movement in New Rochelle at one point, the God. So I was fully in. Jamar he's even before me. Jamar was fully in, and Pooh Bah was in. His family come from that type of line, and we was from there, and like we just tied everything together. Some of the teachings with the music.
You was rapping. You loved hip hop, but you was also getting lessons.
Yeah, getting lessons, and see that was at the time when, if you didn't know your lessons, that's when the guards was coming in. You might be on the train or somewhere, and they roll right up on you. What's today's degree, guard? And if you didn't know it, it was times I was in the crib before I went outside, like, yo, let me study this and at least get today's down in my mind. I got to know what today is in case somebody asks me.
That's the first thing that would get asked always if you were to get called for it. Someone's going to ask what
were you wearing flags?
Flags.
If you wore the flag.
Yep. That was a main thing. Or the kufi, the kufi with the tassel. Yeah. If you seen somebody with that, like if I got on the train and I seen somebody with that kufi on, because if you wore the kufi, a lot of times that meant that you really knew. You know what I'm saying? Those was the ones that would sit there. So if I got on the train and I seen somebody with a kufi, I'd be like, oh, man, this is getting ready to get real. And if they see me and they knew that I was like, they'd come over to you. But, it just forced you, to learn. And
now, somebody stepped to me, I was in a club, young, 18, and I had two flags on. And this kid came in the bathroom. He was like, why are you wearing that? I was like, I'm a 5%. He's like, what's this? What's that? What's that?
Yeah.
They didn't know. Yeah. And he ripped the flags off my chest.
Yeah, that was it. They'll take it.
I was like, what are you doing? He's like, you don't know the knowledge. I said, I'm new. I'm new. He's like, well, you can't wear the flag yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they would do that.
Like, I should fuck you up.
Yeah, they would do
it.
it.
How new? I'm like, 3 months. He's like, you can't wear this. He's like, I should fuck you up, but I see that you at least trying to talk to me about it.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what? This is crazy.
And then that guy went on to be your father figure.
Tracy Morgan.
It was Tracy. That was Tracy. That's our dad, Tracy.
Okay.
Get well, Tracy. Well, hold on real quick. So during this time, how righteous are you living? Like, are y'all actually righteous all the time?
Yeah, especially back then, because back then it was like,
when you first get it.
And because when you first get it, it's like, it's consuming, you know what I'm saying? So you trying to live out the full tenet of everything. So you trying to do everything straight, rigid down the line. So, we was living, like I was in the house preaching to my parents, like, this is not going to be served here, no pork, and I'm not eating out of this pan no more, and this and that. So it was pretty serious.
Did you ever yell at your mom, Jesus is black, and your mom starts laughing at you and then put a pork chop in your face?
Oh, all the time.
I'm not eating this. And then your mom was like, well, then don't eat.
Yep, my pops all the time be in the kitchen cooking pork chops and be like, yo, this smell good, man. You sure? My grandmother be like, you was raised on this. You know, you ate it when you was a baby. So I was like, oh, gosh, here we go.
So you guys start right away, start working on the album? How did it work out? Or did you put out a single first?
We did that song in Jay's. Then we did a song called Feel So Good.
Of course.
We put that out.
This is all pre-deal?
This was around.
Dante said the whole.
Yeah, like somehow Dante and Pooh Bah had worked out a little something where.
Interesting.
You know what I'm saying? Them two was always in cahoots. Probably a money deal. You know, Dante's always staying it. So him and Pooh Bah worked something out. And then all of a sudden, I just remember we did the song, and they called me and was like, yo, we doing the video. So we did the video. And then a little while after that, we was working on the album. You know, Dante was like, yo, y'all got to hurry up, get the album done, this and that. So we just went to the studio and started knocking it out.
Is it a contradiction of terms if you're super 5% or hardcore? Like, aren't white people sort of part of, wait, hold on, Cypher, I always get confused. 85, Dumb, Deaf, and Blind. Mm-hmm. The 10, aren't they the bad, Wicked 10?
What
Bloodsuckers of the Poor.
Yeah, it was supposed to be.
Not all white people, just the 10%.
Just the 10%.
There are 85.
The 10% is basically supposed to be like preachers and people that know the truth but are shielding the truth. That's like the 10%. Then 85% is basically the population, the masses. You know, then it's supposed to be 5%, which is us, the poor righteous teachers of the planet Earth. You know, so we the 5%. But like I said, man, like as you go, like a lot of I'm still 5%, but a lot of the lessons and stuff, and this is where I get into debate with a lot of the guys. I mean, those lessons, a lot of those was written in 1964.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if we know and understand that we gone and we supposed to be advancing, we got to know and understand that some of them lessons are not today's facts.
And that's the advance.
You know, times have changed. If we know that the total population of the original nation was this back then, it's got to be more now. Or different facts have come out. You know what I'm saying? Land mass facts and stuff like that. Different facts have come that are proven that's a little different now. It's good as far as mind repetition and I guess getting yourself mentally to learn stuff.
The knowledge still shapes your everyday thought process.
Yeah, definitely.
That's how
definitely.
It is with me. And like it made me, it made me love to learn.
Yeah, definitely. And it's surprisingly, it's made me. The lessons made me learn to judge people differently. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times they say like if you're 5%, you're supposed to hate white people. Well, the lessons have taught me that the worst devils sometimes are the ones that come in the same color as you. You know what I'm saying? I just learned, and then from going on the road and growing just to deal with people, you know, that's I've been messing with R.A. the Rugged Man since 90. You know what I'm saying? That's my man. I don't look at him as white R.A. or nothing like that. That's just my man. I got people in Europe and different places. Every year we go back and forth. So it's taught me a lot, too, to deal everybody on their own merit.
Now, real quick, we should also mention while Sadat's here. He has a wine. This is not the product I would have assumed one day I'd be getting from Sadat.
Yeah.
All right? True Wine Connoisseurs.
Definite.
Has the picture of Sadat on it.
Yes.
And I just want to say real quick, as someone who has, in the last couple of weeks, been held to the fire by many so-called hip-hop supporters who I don't believe do anything to support hip-hop, but just talk a lot of trash about it. I'm not talking about Chuck D, by the way. I'm talking about people online.
Yeah, no problem. I see it, too. I know you've been going through it. I seen
so
it.
When y'all all say, oh, I support blah, 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 well, we're sitting right here with a legend who has a new business that he's out here doing.
Yes.
And if you drink wine, why not check out what Sadat's doing? It's available in 55 stores in New York. And you said it's going to other places as well.
It's going to other places. We finally got it down to the district. Shout out to all my family. Got extensive family in Washington.
Boom, that's where I'm from.
Oh, yeah. Berry Farm. Shout out Anacostia, Baloo.
I was there last week.
You know, the Black Hole, Chuck O, Pleasure, all those groups like that, Chuck.
Whoa.
You know, so I was there.
Really?
Understand. But
it's going to be there, too. So anyways, is there a place online people can find this, too?
Yeah, well, you can hit me online at, hit my email, brandnew7, BRANDNU7 at Gmail. We working on the website right now. But
right now it's just in stores.
Yeah, it's in store, 55 stores. And if you get a chance, just Google Sadat X Wine, and you'll see all the True Wine episodes that we have that led up to the culmination of this.
This is very cool. All right, I love that. So you're working on the first album now.
Yeah.
Did you guys have an actual meeting and like sign a contract and like we're signing to Elektra Records now? Did Pooh Bah just do it himself and be like, y'all are going to be good?
Well, what happened was, like I said, one day I got a call. Pooh Bah was like, yo, him and Dante, they worked something out. Yo, we signing with Elektra. We got Larry Lytle was the lawyer. Larry had to be about 80 then. So he's probably bones now. But he was. We got that, and I remember it. The advance from Electra was $15,000. I got 5,000. Pooh-Bah got 5. Jamal got 5, and that was the most money I had ever seen. I immediately went out and bought some gold teeth and some Timberlands. I'll never forget that.
Money well spent.
You know what I'm saying? Some gold teeth and Timberlands, but it came from then. Then we just had to work on the album. You know.
And
that was your personal money.
Personal money, $5,000.
What was the budget for that album?
Now, that's a good question because I don't know what the budget was. I know that we ran up a car service because somehow, remember back in the days they used to have the car service and you get the PIN number. We ran up about $28,000 worth of services from Electra, which was taken out, and then because back then you'd get them big contracts, but they'd get all that shit back. Because they get all that money back. You do a video, it costs $50,000 or whatever. They take $50,000 back. Where at the end, I remember we wound up owing Electra some money.
So right away, do you already have like an idea of what this album's gonna feel like, or is it just cutting records?
Yo, we just was doing it. You know what I'm saying? We come to the studio, literally come to the studio with a record, play records, loop something up.
Who would bring the records in? All of you?
All of us. All of us. Some days I bring some days Pooh-Bah would bring some.
Are there any you hold to that you're like, I brought that sample?
I bought the Edie Brickell record for Slow Down. I saw it was one of those late night shows, and I saw her video, and I was like, yo, I gotta go get that record. The next day I went and got it. It was a 45 too. And we tried to loop it up, and it didn't work at first. Right. So we was like, forget about it. The last day we had to do the album, the very last day, we had about 2 hours left. And when we was playing with the record again, somehow we looped it up right this time and laid that down. That was the last joint we did.
That was the last one for the album?
For the album. And it's bugged out because imagine if we wouldn't have put that on the album. It would have still been a cool album, I think, but that, that was like a main joint we needed, and it came together like that.
And what was the clearing process for that record? Like, did she hear the record? Because that was a huge smash, and it was one of the couple times in that era in which a smash was sampled, just like Sometimes or I'm Slow. Mm-hmm. It was something was sampled really recently.
Yeah, right at the time.
So how did it go?
Well, she heard it, and like we had to explain what it was talking about. Because, she didn't know.
She didn't know what jumps were?
Yeah, she didn't know. So we had to explain that this is basically an anti-crack record. It's not promoting crack. It's anti-crack. We're not talking about violence. And she went with it. Like when Pooh-Bah used Sunshine for Roy Ayers, I think Roy wanted like $3,000 in an organ or something like that. So that's what we gave him. Some different stuff like that.
Wow, but it's really cool that I got to be honest, too. I haven't gotten that 45 yet, and it's it's not rare, but it's much more rare than you would think. Right. It's one of those records that every time I walk into a store, I see Edie Brickell. All of her artwork looks the same. It's all that like cartoony, all look the same. And it's never that record. Right. It's always some crap that I've never heard of. Mm-hmm. Now, by the way, Edie Brickell, as you well know, went on to marry Paul Simon right after that. And then recently,
they hadn't gotten to a scrap. They were scrapping.
They both got arrested.
Word.
Did you hear that?
I heard
serious.
Paul Simon and his wife. I didn't know it was her.
Yeah, they're still married. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, how did that happen? Like, you don't have your first flare up when you're Paul's 72 years old.
Word.
She's now like 40 something.
Paul was going for it that day. He was like, I'm not going for that today.
I want to hear it.
She's like, I'm tired of your bullshit songwriting. Shut up. So. When did it start catching on? Who played the record first on the radio?
I think it was because I remember it came out at first, and I was like, damn man, like what's going on?
What was it? Brand Nubian that came out first?
Yeah.
Okay.
If I remember, it was Chuck. I think Chuck played it first, and then I remember Red started picking up on it because Red was because at that time like. If Red was one of those dudes, you had to get approval from and if he didn't like your joint, he'll tell you, I don't like this one. You know what I'm saying? And he started playing it, and it grew gradually. Like all of a sudden, I remember it was the fall. We was practicing. Also, Pooh-Bah would make us dance at first. Before we got dancers, Pooh-Bah made me and Jamar dance. Mm-hmm. And I remember one day I didn't want to dance. He's like, yo, man, if you want to be big, man, that's what you got to do, man. I was like, but I don't dance, Pooh-Bah. So he made us dance, and then we got the dances. But that's how it went.
What was the name of the dances again?
What was SOS? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yo, I just watched a performance. I just saw a performance of you guys on whatchamacallit. It wasn't Apollo.
Video Music Box?
And maybe it was a Video Music Box performance.
Kilimanjaro,
club,
probably.
at the
yeah.
club? Yes.
The legendary Kilimanjaro
I
performance.
studied. I used to tape that. I still have the VHS cassette and used to just try to copy the dances over and over.
I bet there were some serious moves.
So there was one kid that looked like me. There was one kid, he looks Puerto Rican or light skin.
Yeah, definitely.
And I was like, I could be him.
Mm-hmm.
I could be him.
And we used to, man, when we came out like that, especially for that show, like, we used to travel 100 deep. Like, I remember the first show that we ever did out of New York was one of the shows was in Washington, D.C. And, like, that was the first time, one of the first times I was in a hotel and not a motel. So we get to the hotel, and they got a refrigerator with alcohol in it. So I'm calling Jamal like, yo, do you have a refrigerator in your room? And I'm like, yo, you got one, Alamo? We took all the liquor out of there and put it in one tub with ice and drank it all. We didn't know that you had to pay for it. You know what I'm saying? We didn't know about that.
That is terrible.
All of it.
All of it. That'll get you.
Mm-hmm.
How big, Syph, this predates me, actually, it may predate you, too, when you were actively paying attention. How big did Brand Nubian, the song, get in New York? Because I didn't know that song that much.
Yeah, that one, that was just a springboard. That was like a springboard song to some of the other joints because at first I didn't really want that one to be the first one. I was like, yo, why don't we just go with All for One or Slow Down at first? But Boo Bah and them was like, yo, that
had all the records.
Yeah, we had them. That was the setup joint.
And All for One was next.
Probably because your name was on it.
Yeah, that's what they want. Yeah, that was a Dante move. And then I think probably knowing Dante back then, one of his joints was on the other side. You know, Dante always kept his hand in the pot. I love
It's
Dante.
Brand Nubian Feels So Good.
Yeah.
Is that Dante?
Well, but he did a remix to one of them joints. Yeah, you know Dante.
He did a remix to almost all your songs.
Of everything.
And then the second
Sunshine.
Yeah, he did the remix.
And this was the second single, All for One?
What was this? Was Wake Up, right?
Wake Up, Sunshine.
Wake Up, yeah.
Wake Up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it was Wake Up.
Yep.
And then All for One, and then Slow Down was last?
Yeah, I think Slow Down was the last one, if I can remember correctly.
And All for One got pretty big, though, right?
Yeah.
All for One?
I think Slow Down's last. I don't know if I can look this up or not.
Yeah, I can't even
Only
remember.
I could ask a member of Brand Nubian. Oh, wait, forget it.
Yeah, right? I can't even remember.
But, like, when you made the album, though, like, did you, like, I don't know how to even, did you know, like, okay, the knowledge part of it, because it was in all the rhymes. Did you purposely do that, or you were conscious of it, or it's just that what you were going through at that time, it was just part of your...
It was part of what we was going through at that time, because, like, I mean, like, it was literally times we was coming to the studio where we take the Metro North and, like, have enough to get down there, but going back, you like, yo, I got to hide in the bathroom, and if I can make it to Mount Vernon without getting kicked off the train, I can walk from there. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it was basically out of that, man. I mean, we was drinking 40s. That was Pooh Bah's thing all out, drinking 40s, eating those chili dogs over there.
Doesn't all of that go against
what
the knowledge?
Well, in the 5%, you know, they do. You know, they drink and smoke. You know, that was I guess that was one of the lures.
The guy who started it got kicked out of the Nation of Islam because he wanted to smoke weed.
Yeah, that was one of, and I'm not even gonna front. That was one of the lures of the 5%. Like, yo,
you can be righteous,
and you can drink and smoke. It was like, yo, I think I'll take that side.
Yo, he literally, Clarence 13X was like a Nation of Islam Muslim, but could not give up the weed. It was like, you know what? I'm gonna start my own thing.
Let's see how fast it comes. On All for One, I hit a beat and swig a note and sing a note as if my name was David Ruffin. Quick to toast an MC just like Niggas Muffin. Don't worry about a thing because the poo was never loving. I get headaches from the whack, so that I take a buffer and I max. I wait until the opportune time and then I text. But should I max? What does that mean, Syph? What does that mean? What does he mean there?
I think that max means should he like chill out? Like I'm gonna just max. You know, I'm gonna just
relax.
Yeah, exactly.
Now they say sinning is for sinners, so I guess I'm not a sinner. Beginning for beginning. Because I'm trying to look for the first time on All for One in which something gets said that's straight knowledge.
All for One is not.
Yeah, I don't
too
think
much
that's
on there.
What would you say, Syph, is the one with the most?
No, the Dance to My Ministry.
Yeah,
which is Lord Jamar's solo song.
Was a straight.
Is literally the what do you call it?
Like mathematics.
Yeah,
the mathematics, straight math from Jay.
But what's it called again? The
Supreme.
Supreme
Mathematics.
It's literally the verses are.
See, it's a positive force which guides my course. It ain't Lil Bo Peep, whose sheep little lost. It's the tribe of Shabazz, first on the planet Earth, but definite to be the last. If Allah stands, she'll pass. students enroll while Jamar teach
Student
class.
enrollment. Yeah, see, that's Jamar right there,
all
man.
like little words.
Seminar I give is for you to live, not try to keep your mind captive. I break shackles, tear down tabernacles. Any problem in sight, Jamar tackles.
All that.
Everything
If
here.
you didn't know Jay back then, I'm telling you, might be intimidated. Jay was like the intimidator, man.
Oh, I was intimidated.
No,
before.
I was like, yo.
All for One has the whole mathematics in it.
Yo, for one, got some
Yeah,
joint.
whose verse is that?
It's just not Pooh Bah's
Build
verse.
and born your cipher. That's your verse.
Yep.
No,
No, that's Jay. That's Jamar. Build and born yourself. On the God, we must be true for the true and living God, not a mystery
Right.
spook. Yep, that's Jay. That's Jay.
So when did it start really booming? When did you guys start feeling like we're becoming a thing? We're becoming one of the groups.
It came that spring when we start, because I knew something was up, because we, like in the springtime, all the schools have their little spring concerts. So I remember we did Rutgers, then we did University of Maryland, then we went down to, and that's what Maryland was. That still Cole Field House down there?
Yep.
Yeah, we did the Field House. Then we did Howard. We started doing all the college joints, and it was like, yo, I think we got something here.
Like fall.
It came out like in the fall, like November, but it didn't really start to gain that steam until the spring. And then that summer, it was everywhere.
You heard it, all cars.
All cars. I remember one time we had a show at the Apollo, and back then you do 2 shows.
Right.
So we did the show at the Apollo, and then between the 2 shows, we went out to Jersey and did one of those colleges over there, and came back and caught the last show. So that's when I knew. I was like, yo, it's moving.
We moving.
It's moving.
By the time you guys started popping, were there already issues that led you to knowing you guys weren't going to all stay together? Or was it all clean at first?
No, what kind of, because, Jamal and Pooh are 2 very, very strong personalities. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, sometimes when you got 3 bosses, it's no infantrymen. Everybody's a general, but you ain't got no infantrymen. So, and people don't understand. Like, we wasn't a group for a long time. Like, how you got groups like
you didn't build up.
Like 4 years we've been trying to get on. It was literally like
just made up for that.
Just made up, and we got the deal. But we were all basically solo artists. You know what I'm saying? So we tried to make it work, and it's like, sometimes when you're in a family with your brothers, y'all fight, and you do everything. You still love your brother, but sometimes you can't mess with him. Sometimes with my brother, I'd be like, yo, I love him, but I'm not dealing with him for a minute. I can't mess with him. So
it was Jamar and Pooh Bah though more than you. You were cool. You were pretty in the middle.
Kind of, yeah. I would say I was like a buffer man. I was the buffer, and. It was, went back and forth. Then finally, Pooh Bah, he went and did his own thing. He told me, I knew what he was going to do. He told me, he was like, yo, y'all should be good from here. Do what you do. You know what I'm saying? So we had to do what we do.
See, it's so funny because my perspective wasn't like that at all. On the outside, they were a group.
Right.
Pooh Bah left.
Hustler.
Yeah.
Right, but I wasn't thinking of at the time, because I don't even think at that time I really realized Pooh Bah's history and knew that he'd been in these other groups.
Right.
'Cause I didn't know Masters of Ceremony like that. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, Pooh Bah goes up to do his own thing. So now Brand Nubian is just them too. This is really confusing.
Yeah.
And then what I found interesting was that when the next record drops, I was in like 8th grade. And y'all came back with Punks Jump Up to Get Beat Down. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what happened to these guys?
Yeah.
They were wearing dashikis. They seemed all friendly.
It went dark.
It went dark.
Yeah, it went dark. It definitely
knowledge.
did. It did.
Well, so what is that? Does that mean that Pooh Bah was Pooh Bah the reason that you guys weren't darker to start out with, or did you get dark because of the breakup?
I think we got dark because of the breakup, man. Because you gotta understand, like, it was hard. Like, he left right in the middle of us doing shows. So literally, we'd have to go to a show. Sometimes we wouldn't say nothing, and the promoter come and he'd be like, "Yo, where's Pooh Bah?" And he'd be like, "Yo, we explain the whole spiel. We could still do it without him." Where sometimes they didn't want to pay us. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes they didn't want us to do the show. So them records came out of that frustration. You know what I'm saying? Where we knew that we had to, whatever we was coming with, it was make it or break it. You know what I'm saying? If we wouldn't have, if that album wouldn't have did that, we wouldn't have had Punks Jump Up, I probably wouldn't even be sitting here no more. You know what I'm saying? I'd probably been outside doing some other type of work. I might would have been one of the people who built this building. But
you did it, though.
Yeah, we did it, and that's how it came.
I remember
you solidified your stake in hip hop with that second album.
Yeah.
Because wait, did Pooh Bah's album come out first?
Yes.
Yeah, Pooh Bah's came out a little bit before.
And you can tell the difference.
Oh, that's what I love about
Pooh
it.
Bah's album is literally Step to the Rear and Who Could Get Busy Like This Man album.
Yeah.
Like the solo joints on the Brand Nubian album made into a whole album.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then your album is your solo joint was
Concerto.
Concerto, Derek X, and Dance in My Ministry was Lord Jamar's solo joint. So that's what the next Brand Nubian album became, like,
but darker,
heavy.
but then even darker.
Yeah.
I remember being in school, and there was this kid who I didn't even think really liked hip hop. He was more like a punky troublemaker kid, and he didn't like the shit that I liked. And I remember hearing him singing "Pass Me the Gat."
Yeah.
And I was like, "What? Why are you identifying? I don't understand." But Punks Jump Up, man, that is who produced the original version of that?
Diamond.
Diamond did the original
Dime
too.
Boy. Yeah, the Dime Boy.
I always forget because he has the remix.
Original's dope too.
Yeah,
though.
the original's dope. The original's a hard
That has
beat.
Rocky.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Dun, 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 yeah.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
Which is that the version that's on the album though?
Yeah.
That's the version that's
Yeah.
on the album.
Why the remix?
Leo Cohen. Leo was like, because we was putting that out.
Fit in the
Yeah,
picture.
why you weren't on Def Jam?
Rush Management. They was managing us at the time. And Leo was like, yo, I have to have something that I can play on the radio. I have to have that remix.
Leor's one of those guys, by the way. Everyone who's here, when they talk, does an impression.
Exactly.
Because he's talking so identifiable.
And he's so crazy. Yeah, you definitely had to hear Leo when he went on to one of his wild yelling rants. Boy, oh my God.
So, but he was like, trust, this is...
Yeah, and I didn't think it was going to work at first. He was like, trust me, I'm telling you, I know this business. This will be the one. And it was, because I was like, at first, I was like, it's cool, but I like the hard version. You know what I'm saying? But
as if the other one's not hard, like
right?
compared to current music.
Exactly.
But it's funny. It's only a slight difference, but it makes a really big difference.
Definitely.
What did he tell Diamond? Like,
he told Diamond he
fix
needed something. He needed it to be able to play on the radio.
So lighten it up a little.
Yeah,
Somehow
exactly.
make it a little
He
more
said-
melodic.
Is anything different besides that getting rid of the dan 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 dan? Is that the only thing that he did? Strip that out?
And the beat was a little dun
Yeah.
dun dun
Yeah.
dun 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 dun. Like the beat was a little different.
Yo,
Play the original.
well, because it's weird for me though, because the version that to me, the second version to me is the version.
But then I'm gonna tell you this though, that version that you know, the clean and dirty are so different.
Are so different too.
Because you went in and recut the vocals. I used to love the Puerto Rican on the train. That was me. Puerto Rican on the train. And then there's a remix to that.
Yeah, so there's an actual
which
remix.
is fucking.
It's funny. There's someone else who made a song called Punks Jump. There are people who've covered Punks Jump Up, which I did not realize.
Yeah.
Let's see. I don't even know if they live on Spotify. There it is. So this is listed as the In God We Trust version. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, he flipped the whole bass line.
Yeah.
Chopped it. So he just opened up the loop.
You know Diamond, man. That's my man. I known Diamond for these years, and he kept asking me, he's like, "Is it cool, X? Do you like it?" That's Diamond. Word.
Crazy.
Yo, there's no way to see. I don't think the regular one lives on Spotify.
It's not on an album.
Because it's not an album.
It's like Biggie One More Chance. It's not on an album.
Yeah.
The Biggie One More Chance that we know is not on Biggie's album.
Yeah, no. It's another weird one. Like it's that one, but that one's dope too. It's just weird. I like both of them. Love the one from the radio.
And Diamond did the remix also.
Yeah.
That's where John Wayne couldn't
even stand the rain of the tech. So that comes out. It's crazy. To me, it's tough though between that and Love Me or Leave Me Alone for what's even my favorite single off that album.
That's all knowledge.
Yep.
That's all knowledge talk. Love Me or Leave Me Alone.
Really?
Yeah, that was a good joint, no doubt. We did that one.
What is it from the Supreme Alphabet? Is it L? Or?
Love Me or Leave Me. Love Hella Right.
Yeah, Love Hella
Right. That's in the Supreme Alphabet.
What's the sample from again?
I know part of it. One
That
piece
fucking
is
harp
Bobby Humphrey.
Oh yeah, I have that.
That's what. And the drums, I forgot where Jamar got the drums from. He pulled the drums together, and we just laid it down.
So that I could tell when I said that.
That's bad.
When I said that, you reacted in a way like that seems to be one you really like.
Yeah, that was because that was one that we produced, and and I remember when we did it, and I remember when we did the video. I remember we had a girl singing on it first. And at first, she was terrible, so we had to get another girl to come do it over. And I just remember that session, it was bugged out. Mm-hmm.
It's just funny, like, is that if you were sitting there, when it in 40 years, when you're sitting there being like, I did some good stuff in my day, if you had to show your great-grandson or whoever, is that the song that you're like, I made this?
Yep, that was one. If I had to show that song and the joint I did with Biggie, the Come On song, because that was a song when Big was in the studio, like we was all there at the same time. And I remember like he was standing there and he just like was listening to the beat. Then he stopped for a minute, but then he was like, all right, I'm ready. And he went in there and I was like, yo, he ain't writing nothing down. But
there's going to be some bullshit.
Yeah, I was like, yo, how is he going? And he went in there and laid it down.
How much of a fan was he?
Yo, he was big.
Told you that,
yeah,
like,
he
off
was.
top?
And see, it was bugged out then because that's at the time I was living with Regina Hall. Remember the chick from the movie? I lived with her for 7 years. So she came with me to the session, and he was like, Big was like,
Think Like a Man 2 does come out today.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's I didn't know it would come full circle in the same.
Right? It's crazy. Word.
Wait, so that was your lady?
Yeah, we lived together for 7 years. I brought her to the session, and Big was like, yo, she's crazy, this or that. We did it.
She was already popping.
Yeah. No, she was at Fordham University. She was still in college then. So she was coming with me from like school. Like she came to the session, and Big was there. And then, but the bugged out thing about this whole song is, remember back in the days when the labels was doing like them budget stuff? All right, so they paid me. Then one day I'm at home in the mail, another check comes. It says Derek Murphy on it, this or that. So I cashed it. Then I remember I was at a club. I seen Puff one day. He was like, yo, did you get a check in the mail or something? I said, no, Puff, I don't know what you're talking about. Then the next time I seen him, he was like, yo, did you get a check in the mail? Because it said it's been cash. I was like, listen, Puff, anything that came to my house with my name on it, I know about the budget finagling. You should have had that taken care of where it didn't reach me. And that's one of the reasons why I think that it didn't go on the album. And I know Puff like from Mount Vernon coming on up, but that's one of the reasons. Yeah, Big wanted it on the album. He wanted it on the album, but I think that Puff felt some type of way because they messed up and sent me another check that he didn't put that joint on there.
Let it go. He couldn't.
How much was it? You remember the check?
It was $10,000. They paid me, and then it was another 10. And not that not that I'm.
You fucked up,
You should have gave that.
I never got no back royalties. I never got no nothing from that, and I didn't care.
What about when they eventually used it? Because it went on Born Again, didn't it?
Yeah, it went on Born Again. And when I heard it on Born Again, I was like, nah, that's like if I think if Big would have been alive, he wouldn't have liked that remix. The version was the Lord Finesse version. I didn't like the remix version. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the funny thing is about Come On is that was one of the first Biggie records I heard. Like, that was on a Clue or a Ron G or a doo-wop maybe. I can't remember which one. But that was out very early.
Yeah, it was. It was.
And then it became like a mystery thing I remembered. It went with the R.A. the Rugged Man. So did that all happen together at the same time?
All around the same time. Word up. All around the same.
Sounds similar.
Yeah, exactly. And then you mentioned earlier your relationship with R.A. the Rugged Man. So it all comes together.
Yeah, I've seen R.A. do some
Sounds like
R.A.'s
R.A.
He's a wild boy.
Yeah, he definitely is.
We need to get him up here.
Rugged Man, that song with Biggie, and also was Think Big.
Yeah, Think Big.
That same sound.
Yeah, that same, exactly. All around that
early
same time.
Buck Wild or like.
And it's funny though, it doesn't sound quite the same, but there's also that's when I heard Dreams of Fucking an R&B Bitch too. That was all in the
that
early.
Around that. Yeah.
That was the change.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that brought it to the other side.
Yeah, that's when Big was like talking to the ladies.
How did it come together? How did the Biggie song come together?
Well, they called me one day. Puff and them called me. He was like, yo.
And you'd known Puff.
Yeah, I known Puff since Mount Vernon. I known Puff before the music when he was dancing, Puffy, the dancing guy.
And did
Mount Vernon.
And did you know Hev and Pete?
Yeah,
and
all of them. Hev, definitely. Pete, I've done been in Pete. Pete used to play tackle on Mount Vernon football team. Pete was a tackle. He was a tackle. I remember when he got the equipment. I remember we used to go in the basement. The first time I went to Pete's crib in the basement, he told Pooh Bah, he was like, yo, I don't really know him, man. Why you bought him? And
that sounds like Pete.
You know what I'm saying? And we did a joint because it was supposed to be on Molly Marr. That's when he was on the In Control show called How You Living. I still got a copy of that joint, How You Living.
Produced by Pete Rock.
And it never, because I think after that 2 weeks later, they stopped doing that or whatever. But, I known Pete since the basement. Definitely.
So, that song, for example, could we hear that song?
Yeah, I think I mean. I'll bring it to you.
Here's something that happens, Sadat. People come up here, they tell us ridiculous shit, right?
And then they don't prove it.
And then we have listeners who hit us up for the next 5 years, being like,
talking about
The Redman Dilla song. There's a real Redman Dilla song.
Wow.
And he's like, I got it. And I'm like, Red, I know don't know where the fuck that is. I believe you might actually know where it is.
Oh yeah, I know where it is.
Is it on a computer?
I got it.
Or is it on a DAT? What's it on? Is it on a piece of media that you can actually access?
What?
Play that up into the thing.
This is Pete Cutting in the basement. I was still Derek X.
Come on, hun. You know my status. Hip as the pips that swung with Gladys. Night is the right time, and I bust the right rhyme. Put it all together, it'll work just
What are you playing that
the style side, you kick the sound on the beat. What the helmet, the noble controversial. What's new? Derek X, how do you feel about this motion? We can't proceed because I have the same notion. You see, it's hooking. The style can't be taken or tooken. Brand new and it's good for the book and raise your hands on the fans in the grandstand. Because the fans be a fee to see the two slam.
Word. That was
Wait, hold on. I might have to give people a taste of hold on. No, Sight, that's playing off his iTunes.
Mhm. And this is off of what? Brand new the Now Rule Files EP.
So it came out somewhere.
Yeah, somehow, I think that might have been a Pooh move. Somehow, I just seen it out one day. I was like, yo,
What is that? Oh shit! All right, don't worry. We got to get that from you to play the whole thing, though. That's nuts.
Definitely.
Okay, so that starts out where the Pete Rock thing comes from. So you knew all those guys. So Puffy calls you one day.
Yeah.
And you're already your Biggie's already has bullshit out, maybe.
I think he had just put that out. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And says you
You
want.
already heard of him?
Yeah, I heard a bit.
Around, like-
Definitely. One time, me, Alamo, and Pac. That's when Alamo had the Doom Buggy. Drove from
Alamo-
uptown.
you
and
Alamo-
went out to mess with Puff.
you Alamo and who?
It went out to me, Alamo, and Tupac. We drove out to because Alamo used to have the Doom Buggy.
Regina Hall, Tupac.
Yep, and we drove out
Why
there
would you hang out with Tupac? How you can't just gloss over that, Sadat?
because Pac's people and Pooh Bah's people, like Pooh Bah's people was militant. They was part of the people that broke the girl out of jail up there. What's the chicken that was in the jail that went to Cuba? Like his people, Ahmed and all them, like they all was tied together.
So they were connected.
Yeah.
To
Like
Tupac.
Shaka Zulu's people?
Yeah,
Like all
exactly.
them?
Shaka, yeah, that's
they-
Pooh Bah's
his
first
family's
cousin.
up-
Shaka and Jeff, first cousins, and Pac used to come to New Row. Pac was in New Row. We used to see Pac. Went out to Cali one time. We get there. Pac is like, yo, what you need? I'm like, I just need some smoke. He's like, oh, that's what you need, smoke. Give us a big bag. Anything else you need? You need some gun? Nah, Pac, we good. Gets in the car, drives off. No plates on the car, no stickers in the window, nothing. Just drives off. I'm like, yo, Pac's a wild boy.
All right. So what was the story you were saying? You Alamo and Pac are going where?
We went out to, one time we went out to Brooklyn to mess with Big, right over
So
there.
you
on
hung
the-
out. So just real quick for history's sake, because yes, you are a legendary rapper, but you're also a mortal man, and you a mortal man and fan of hip hop.
Yes,
Hung out
yes.
with Tupac and Biggie Smalls.
Yes.
That happened
Same
in your
time,
life at the same time.
The same time. One time
They were cool at the time? Or
yeah, they was cool. One time me, Pac, Diamond we stayed at Diamond's crib for like 5 hours listening to beats. All of Pac was cool.
So Tupac and Diamond D spent
Yeah.
time together.
Of course, definitely. I was
Mention
there.
that to us.
I've never.
I was there.
That didn't come up in the Diamond One app.
Yep,
But he has a new album coming out, so we got to get him back.
I was there, definitely.
And
Mhm.
and you had a cool report, and he was a fan.
Yeah, but he was a fan. Like I remember when they was going through their stuff. I spoke to him one time. He was like, "Yo, it's not you." You know what I'm saying? He was like, "I ain't got no problem with you. And I ain't got no problem with half the people out there." He was like, I guess that was some personal thing that they somehow got into. But you know what? We never had no problems with Pac or out west because we was out west at that time. We went out there for like 2 months. We did the I'll Keep Holding On video. We did one day. We did on the Crip side. Then the next day we went on the Blood side, and they told us, they said, we seen y'all over there yesterday doing that. We was wondering if y'all was gonna come over here today. It's like, yeah, well, we here.
And they were cool with y'all fucking with both of them.
Yeah, they was cool. They was cool.
So you had a rapport with Biggie already.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, like in a situation like that, though, do you ever talk to him direct, or y'all would just kick it and you see each other from time to time, and then
Like whenever I'd see him, we talk. He always would say something about Regina. He'd be like, "Yo, she's crazy. You better marry her." And I should, but
Wait, hold on.
you know what I'm saying?
When
Now,
did Regina sing too?
nah, well,
Just acting.
Yeah, just acting. Mhm.
And well, hold on, we'll get to Regina Hall in a second.
Okay.
That's interesting. So Puff calls, and y'all just got in the lab.
Yep.
And was the rest of Brand Nubian there too? Or just you?
No, it was exactly in the studio. It was me. I think Tracy Waples was there.
Wow.
Trey Wap was there.
Guys,
Puff was there.
who's Trey Wap, guys?
Bob was like I don't know what she's a.
She was like a beautiful fly and yeah,
Hot Chalacha.
yeah, definitely.
Around a lot of early Bad Boy, Def Jam.
Yeah, definitely.
She's
still around?
Mariah. I haven't seen her.
I haven't
in a
seen
while.
Trey in a while, man. Years.
She's like she was always with Puff, always dolled out.
Yeah,
hot
very,
chick.
very nice.
You listen to old records, you'll hear Tracy Waples. You'll hear her
Hear the
shout it
reference.
out.
Okay,
Yeah.
so she was there.
Yep, Puff. C's was there. C's might have been about 14. He was there, and a couple of Biggie's people, and my man Spark was there. And I remember Puff just kept making me do it over and over and over again. Well, I was like, yo, Puff, man, you don't even rhyme, man. He just kept making me do it over and over again.
Now, so let's talk real quick. Obviously, we're not going to ask you to go into any details that are weird, but the Regina Hall situation.
Yeah.
Y'all started dating. Now, did she meet you? She's in college, and you were starting to get hot?
What happened was I was already out, and I met her through my man Spark. Spark was talking to one of her friends at Fordham, and then he introduced me to her. So we got cool, and I started dating her.
Did she know who you were yet or no?
Yeah, she knew. So I started dating her, and we eventually moved in together. We lived on 120th Street like for 7 years. I remember when she wanted to first start going to acting school because she had got a degree and she was doing some teaching. I was like, why you want to act? You already got the degree. You good. She was like, nah, this is what I want to do. And I remember she went to the acting school. I think she started out with a McDonald's commercial. Then it was she did something on All My Children. Then it was The Best Man. And then she took off from there. I just spoke to her 2 days ago. They just was in town.
Yeah, that's why Kevin was here.
Exactly.
So you still speak to her?
All the time I speak to her.
Is she married?
No, not yet.
Are you?
Well,
I'm not married yet either.
So Sadat,
what's the big thing?
her biggest thing?
Scary movies, the scary movie
She's been in
joint.
mad movies, yo.
Yeah.
No, but I'm trying to
What
I
the
know
most-
who she is, but I'm trying to think like
What, you know her from
did
Best?
she do a TV? Was she on TV?
Yeah, she did a TV
Yeah,
show
she
too, I
did a
think.
couple of TV shows. She was on Ally McBeal for a while. Like she did some things. And
Wow,
I
that's
think if I would have had to do it over again, I might would have been down now. You know, it's just back then it was.
Wait, so you broke up with her?
Yeah, well, she basically broke up with me. She was tired of me running around. See, that's people don't realize, man. Like sometimes when you're rapping, man, like you start running around and get into that type of lifestyle where you're supposed to commit to somebody. Like I tell women all the time, like it don't care if you got the baddest chick in the world. Sometimes something will
got so
just
many
make you
options.
stray. Sometimes, and it's because of this thing right here, man. Because of this rap thing, man. It's
So you were
corrupt.
fucking around.
Yeah, basically.
You were out there.
Basically, that's all. Basically.
How was she with the knowledge?
Oh, she was cool. Everything. I mean, yeah.
Study or ever,
No,
like,
well, she never studied or nothing like that,
she
But
got it. Like,
Yeah,
like, did she bother you about eating pork?
no, because she didn't eat pork. You know what I'm saying? So she didn't eat it. We go down to DC. I didn't really mess with the. DC is a hard crab and seafood spot, and like I don't really eat too much of that. But she would eat it. It was never no problems. You know what I'm saying? And that's how it went down.
So that's how the Biggie record happened. That's crazy.
That's random. I need
yeah.
to just know because I don't want to miss it. So where does it go from Derek to Sadat?
All right, that's when because like I was always down with the 5% Nation.
Right.
Coming up and seeing the guards.
And
But
Derek X was your.
that was
just
my
a rap
Yeah,
name?
that was just
Like
my
on some
rap
Malcolm
name.
X?
Yeah, that was
Derek
after
X?
reading Malcolm X. I said I'm just gonna be Derek X.
Right.
So then coming, I started getting more into the mathematics and all, and I said, well, I wanted to have a righteous name. You know what I mean?
Right, which is not a typical righteous name you
Yeah,
have.
yeah. So I picked Sadat, and I was able to build on it. Means self-savior. A lot of people said it was from Anwar Sadat. I knew of him, but I didn't pick it because of that. I picked it.
It's an Arabic word?
Yes, it meant bright, shining light. You know what I'm saying?
So his name, Anwar Sadat, is just an Arabic word
Yeah,
that means that.
And I took that name and went with it.
So what's your entire attribute?
Sadat X Allah. That's my attribute.
So the X was fine?
Yeah, well, the X is supposed to be unknown, but I used to be like, well, until I feel I've reached everything that I got to reach, it's still unknown. So I kept the X. I went through it with the X. You know what I'm saying? At the
I'm
school
sure.
building and this and that.
Because to
But-
use an Arabic word as an attribute.
yeah. Mhm.
Saif, you know what we could easily not mention?
What?
And I'd later be like, you know what I should have mentioned?
What?
Show business.
Oh yeah, showbiz.
Business is
A Tribe Called Quest.
Tribe Called
Diamond
Quest.
D
Yes,
and
Diamond
Sadat.
D again. Diamond D.
So how did that record come about?
Well, back in the days, man, when groups used to be in the studio, sometimes you'd go to another session. Like if Tribe was in the studio and I was in the area, I'd go through and sit in on their session, or the Jungle Brothers.
There was no cell
You
phones.
sometimes you call them, you know what I'm saying? Remember the old bat phones? You have one of the bat phones, and somehow, you know, you'd find out you knew that Diamond or this person was in there. And one time, I remember Tippingham was in there, and he called us. He was like, "Yo, I got a joint. You know what I'm saying? I want y'all to be on the joint." And we went and did it.
I forgot you're both on it too. That's crazy.
Poobah was supposed to be on it, but he didn't come to the session.
That sounds about right.
Yep.
And also,
I'm trying to think of the random features
no,
that I
know
love.
the fucking the Buck Wild joint.
Yep.
You mean the?
Are
Are you talking about not my favorite shit, not the Diamond D shit, the B side, the Diamond D shit with the strings.
You talk about
Can't
Can't Front?
Can't Front.
Mm-hmm.
Can't Front's my.
That record.
Which makes that record
the
is
mixtapes on.
Yeah. That was a big
the one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yep.
Can't Front.
Mhm.
What is that? The B side of?
Fuck what you heard.
Yep.
But was it on his album? No.
No,
Nah, that wasn't on no album.
in no album.
But you're on his album though.
Who that?
Are you on
He's
Diamond
on the
album?
Diamond D album.
On
The new one? Or you
No,
talking
no,
about
the
old one.
first one.
Oh,
Stunts
you're on
Blunts.
A Day in the Life.
Life of
Oh,
Three
A
Black
Day in
Men.
the-
Day in the Life.
Oh,
I'm gonna tell you something though. One of the most bugged out collabs that I did is one day somebody from Rockefeller called me.
One day?
And it was like, yo, they was like, Jay-Z is gonna call you in 5 minutes. And you know, back then I'm thinking,
I know this record.
I'm like, yo, man, I'm like, Jay ain't gonna call me, this, that. Sure enough, about 5 minutes later,
What year are we talking about?
This had to be about 2000.
Yeah,
when I
it was
first,
later.
because I first laid it like 2000, maybe 4.
Okay, so not that long
Yeah.
ago.
Oh, I remember
so,
the record.
So
But it didn't come out, right?
Yeah, it didn't come out. So somebody like called me from Rockefeller. They said Jay-Z's gonna call you. So he said, yo, I need you to come to the studio tomorrow. You know, I need you to lay this joint for me.
That voice.
So I said, all right, cool. He said, somebody's gonna come, you know, somebody gonna come get you, whatever. So the next day I'm waiting. I'm like, yo, first of all, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know who's coming. So somebody comes to get me, and I'm thinking, all right, we going to the studio downtown. So we go over the bridge now. We going to Jersey, and I'm like, now I'm thinking like, yo, man, is this some type of setup, man? Because
This is weird.
I don't know where I'm going. So then we get to an airfield in Teterboro. We get to the airfield, and I'm like, yo, what's going on? And I'm like, you know, so now I see the plane, get on the plane, and Jay's there. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, oh, okay, so I guess we going somewhere. We fly down to Pharrell's spot in VA. Now we get to the studio.
I remember this.
We get to the studio. It's about
Best.
it's about 7 rooms now in the studio. And Jay is literally going back and forth to each room. Like he's in the room, I'm doing the chorus, this and that. Then he goes to another room. I'm just baby. Pharrell's there. What's your name? They do that joint.
This is Blueprint 2.
Yeah. So we going around each of them rooms. We do that. Then all of a sudden we finish. I get back on the plane and come back home. And I'm like,
They
yo.
come back or no?
He stayed. Because I think B was there. Was she there that day? I don't know. I think.
Could have been.
Yeah, I think she was there, but I know that he was going around, him and Pharrell, because I remember Pharrell played that song at least 30 times in a row.
Which one? Excuse me, miss?
Yeah, in a row.
What did you do? What did you lay down?
One day when I was riding on the train, the scenes,
Did you redo it?
yeah, I did that, and then,
Part like a hook.
yeah, later on, like maybe about 2-3 years ago, Uncle Murder, he put Uncle Murder on it, because I kept asking them, I would call Rockefeller periodically and be like, yo, are y'all going to do something with that record? Because if not, I could really use it, you know. I could use it, but they kept on saying, "Nah, Jay's gonna do something with it." And then one day I heard it, no doubt.
And so Uncle Murder used it.
Well, Uncle Murder and Jay, they combined on it. And Jay, yo, he was good, paid me well. I wasn't mad at the payment, and
Regardless, not if it was coming out, he paid you for your time.
yeah, he paid me for my time, definitely. And then something happened where he paid me again. I forgot what it was, and I was like, again, all right,
All right.
yeah.
Now
cool.
listen, from what I know of Pharrell, he must have just had some time where he just geeked out and talked to you about brand Nubian music.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like he must have just been
Yeah,
excited.
Definitely, he was excited. He was running back and forth and was saying the rhyme because like sometimes like I didn't think he would know the rhymes. You know what I'm saying?
Rhymes,
Yeah,
rhymes.
he knew them all, and he knows everybody's rhymes. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, wow, I was like really, but then I had to be like, yo, he's a product of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? He came.
But this is what we always learn.
Mm-hmm.
We all think that the people we meet who we see in the business get to be really huge are different, but they're just the versions who had the skills to get super successful.
That's all.
That's it. Like, everyone's like, you wouldn't believe who's a hip hop head. They all are. Like, if you love hip hop enough that you make it to a really high level, likely you also studied everything.
Oh
too.
yeah. It's times to this day. Like one of my top favorite MCs that I felt never really got. He's gotten credit, but it's my man AG.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could probably tell you all AG's rhymes. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a fan to the point of today where sometimes where I hear a record, I'll rhyme it in the mirror and be like, damn, why I didn't make this? You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, this is so like I should have made this. You know what I'm saying? I'm still a fan. I'm
we
a
got to
fan.
get him up here.
Mm-hmm. I'm a fan.
I haven't talked to him in
definitely.
a couple of years, but I used to talk to him pretty regularly. He's pretty
Show
awesome.
Too. Never had
You've
Show.
had never.
You were cool with Show too, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
What was the video in the Bronx? Was it Fat Oh, my pockets.
Yeah,
Pockets
Fat
Now.
Pockets.
You were in the video.
Yeah, I was in.
You're
a
not
couple
on
of
the
their
song.
joints. Yep, I just was there. I known them. Like I used to play video games with A. Like I known A for 100 years.
So I told you my 3,000 story from the other day, right?
No.
What about my shirt?
No.
And 3,000?
I don't remember.
All right, so this is a perfect story about what we just said about people knowing shit, of course. So I went to Governor's Ball with Childish Gambino last week, and Andre
Yeah, I
3000
like him
came.
too. I like Childish.
Oh, really?
Yeah, who he's doing.
That's dope.
Mhm.
So 3,000 brought 7.
Oh, Andre 3000.
Yeah.
Yes.
Three
I thought you talking about maybe you're going to give me $3,000 or something.
So I told you the story. So I told you already?
I don't remember.
Okay, so 3,000 brought 7, who's a big fan of Childish Gambino, right? So I'm backstage. I haven't seen 3,000 since I was like 19 or something. So I go up to him, introduce myself, said I was your partner, blah, blah, blah. We'd love to have you come to our podcast one day, blah, blah, blah. He's great, super nice. I'm wearing an MF Doom shirt. My shirt is just black, and it has the mask on it. That's it, right? So it's a nerd shirt. It's for super hip-hop geeks. And as I'm about to walk away, he goes, I like your shirt. And I was like, oh, thanks, man. And then as I'm like about to turn away, I just hear him go, Peach Fuzz.
Wow.
He's like, oh,
What?
wow.
Yeah.
Peach Fuzz?
Yes. Like
Wow.
he spoke in code to me.
Right.
Like he didn't say he didn't.
Peach Fuzz.
He just said
Yeah,
Peach Fuzz.
That's all he
it.
had to say.
And
Boom.
I was like, that's awesome.
That's dope.
That's super dope. So hold on. So you're telling us now what we've learned is you did song with Big, you've done a song with Hove. You never recorded with Pac.
Never recorded with Pac. Just hung out with him, was cool with him.
Do people regularly though? Do the greats, come up to you when they see you? Like you're one of those rappers. Your voice is so unique. Do people just regularly show you love in a crazy way?
And it's good, man, because you see a lot of rappers that's come up that's always talk about where they had certain beefs here and certain beefs here. Thankfully, I've been able to come up. I've always been pretty much well liked. I've pretty much been able to travel all over the city in roughest parts of Queens, Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? So always been recognized, by the common man and by rappers. You understand?
How often do you get physically recognized to this day?
Every day, damn near. Every day somebody will see me. I'll be walking. Either they'll say Derek X or Sadat X. And it's bugged out, man, because sometimes I forget. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, yeah. You know what I'm saying? I forget, but
How often do you rap at this point?
Oh, I still do every day, damn near. I'm constantly in the studio. You know what I'm saying? Because
I see you put out things here and there, but
now it's a different lane. Now I got a different lane, but I'm still constantly in the studio. You know what I'm saying? So
how often are you in Europe?
A lot. I was in like 2 weeks ago. I went to a birthday party for somebody in Switzerland. They flew out for the birthday.
Is rap your job?
Yeah, pretty much. Rap is still my job.
For a minute, you were.
I was teaching.
Like
I was teaching. Yeah,
I think you were Irv Gotti's child substitute teacher.
Yeah, definitely. Him and Pooh-Bah. Pooh-Bah's because Irv Gotti his son went to the same school I taught at, and Pooh-Bah's daughters, and all his kids, definitely.
Hilarious.
How good are you with Pooh-Bah, with everyone?
Good. I was with Pooh-Bah yesterday. I had a wine tasting. He came. Still speak to Jamar. You know what I'm saying? I support him. He's going crazy right now. He going on the flag.
You seemed like there was a moment when I thought you were going to be the crazy brand newbie.
Yeah.
Then you seemed to sort of calm down.
Yeah, I calmed down.
And Jamar has become the crazy brand newbie member of He tweets a lot.
What's going on with him?
He's been going at different people for different things.
Different things and
it sucks.
Yeah,
Is he in a bad space or anything or no?
No, I'm cool with him. You know what I'm saying? Like he's his own man and he's going to say what he says. He
Very opinionated on certain topics.
One thing though, he's the right person for it because me, I would be too emotional. I would want to probably fight somebody. Well, meet me on Fulton or meet me over here. Jamar's able to do it in a way that first of all, whatever he says, knowing Jamar and it's going to be fact behind it. You're never going to just hear him say something, spit out something that doesn't have a fact behind it or that he hasn't done the knowledge to. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of whether you like it or not, he's going to hit you with the facts behind it. So he's the perfect person for that type of forum. You know
are you not as militant on certain subjects as you once were? Do you feel that you've calmed down?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, he's the grown cowboy.
Yeah, as far as race relationships, as far as lifestyles, you know what I'm saying?
Because I mean that line, your punks jump up, homophobic line.
Yeah. That was
when you perform it. Do you still say that line?
No, sometimes I don't, man. Depending on where I'm at. But
if they all speak English, you might not say it.
90% of the time, I don't anymore. You know what I'm saying? Simply.
What's the clean version?
What's the clean version?
Yeah, fuck up a party.
Fuck up a party.
Yeah.
Rip up a party. Rip up a party.
And you know that was.
And then what do you say for the next line? You go rip up a party,
danced all night, and at the end called a body. Yeah, see, I changed it around because, like, as you, that came from growing up, not being around too many gay people. So I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? That perception.
You travel the world.
Yeah, you travel the world, and you'd be like, damn, well, dude was gay. He didn't try to talk to me or this or that. Like, well, and I got to check out the deal. Be like, okay.
Like you did an event for a gay people.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, all right, definitely.
What was I tripping off of?
You know, so.
Well, that's cool. That's interesting.
Yeah.
It's always nice to hear people's stories like that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we would be remiss if we didn't talk about Wild Cowboys.
Okay.
I mean,
I'm going to say the third Brand Nubian album is also very hot.
Oh, then there's the third Brand Nubian album.
But it's not as hot.
Yeah.
But there's gems on there.
Wait, the third one is
They lightened up a little.
Is this Foundation?
No.
This is when you got back
there's one
together?
in between.
Oh, everything is everything.
Yeah.
Word is bond.
They were light. They in the car rolling weed.
I felt we went a little too west on it. Being that we was
were you chilling out there a lot?
We was out there a lot at that point in time. So we was heavily influenced by that, you know. And I felt that that was at a time when it was still like, if you was from the East, they wanted you to rhyme East.
Right.
And if you was West, you had to rhyme West, where I think a lot of people in the East.
I think Master Ace had the same problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
And that was a dope joint that he made. Ace is he's one of my champions to this day.
Ace
you know,
had the
and I
same
think
problem.
that was a little before its time as far as the musical switch went.
This was Flex used to go hard on this.
The horns, those horns. I have that record.
With the original?
Yeah. I think it's Average White Band.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Who did that beat? Oh, y'all did it.
We did that.
You
Mm-hmm.
did the whole album, right?
Yep.
Did you get a good check for this album after they saw that you did pretty well with the one before that?
Yeah, it was pretty good. And we didn't owe as much money this time. You know what I'm saying? We stayed within budget. You know what I'm saying? Because, see, Pooh Bah taught me a lot of ways to. Pooh Bah was the first person that taught me that you can get a manual check from a label if necessary. I'd be with Pooh Bah some days and he'd wake up and be like, yo, I need 10 G's today. And I'd be like, he'd be like, I'm getting it from Electra somehow. And we go down there, him and Dante would yell at each other, this and that, and then he'd come out the room with a check somehow. So I was like, he was the one that let me know anything can happen in this business.
Yo, and then Rifkin came to you. Now my guess is, hold on.
Man.
Yeah, my guess is, because let's not overlook this. You were fucking popping. Like, your voice, everyone wanted a piece of you. My guess is there were multiple labels coming at you.
Yo, I was it's bugged out because like Loud was there first and foremost, and they was going, and I never forget, man, it was like a Friday, and I was supposed to sign on Monday, and sure enough, I get a call from Chris Lighty. Chris Lighty calls me, and he's like, yo, Russell wants to speak to this and that, and they like, yo, you know, you should come on over to Def Jam and get down with Def Jam. And in my mind, I was like, damn, man, I've been dealing with Steve and them. You know, I've been up to the table. We done got the contracts drawn up. And it's like, if I go to Def Jam now, it's like my loyalty, man. I felt like Steve and them had showed me that loyalty where I had to go with Loud, but I almost went with Def Jam.
Wow. And the Wild Cowboys album was dope, by the way.
Thank you.
Slept on. Stages and Lights.
All that.
Life, you a fan?
Yes.
That's a song, by the way, I don't know if it came up when you saw him. Pharrell is obsessed with Stages and Lights.
That's what's up. Mm-hmm.
He was obsessed with, Show did that, right?
Yeah, definitely.
He was obsessed with that record. And then I loved what Pete did for Escape from New York.
Yeah, definitely.
And did you how that album turn out?
That was a good joint for me.
How many you sell? You sold
it sold like 375 or whatever, something like that.
What an era we lived in.
Mm-hmm.
What an era we lived in.
375 then, boy. I was like, wow.
Nothing was touching the radio off that album.
Yep.
I got when I went on tour with him, I had to got the instrumental vinyl.
There's a bootleg of that. I think I have the bootleg.
Fired me. I was like, I'm not giving these records.
Hell
back.
yeah.
I'm not giving these
Have it?
instrumentals back. Yeah, but then it came out.
You have a white label of it though?
Yeah, I got the white label, like maybe test pressings or something.
And
What
yo,
was the kid?
the bugged out thing is, I remember we was doing stages of lights, and something happened with. I remember Showbiz got into some wild, like, yo, well then go get his car and bring it to me. And somehow he had some of his little goons. I don't know whose car it was, but they was back down at the studio in about 30 minutes with somebody's car. I was like, okay.
You heard somebody else's car.
Yeah, they took it. I was like, okay.
It's good. Every once in a while, we need a story on this show to solidify Showbiz's.
Oh,
just
I
I know. If you're in, at all,
if you in the
know.
know, you know.
You saw Sadat's face right now. Of how scrunched
you
up it got
yes,
to
sir.
prove
Put it
Show's
like this:
realness.
when Joe and them got into that beef with Jay, he called Showbiz. Understand that he called Show, and like
The multitude and various gems of this episode is on a very high level.
Yeah,
You're
very
putting
high.
yourself on a very high level.
I love how Showbiz was this fucking gangster thug that liked jazz music.
yeah, like. Yeah, if you looked at Show, you wouldn't see. You like, yo, this guy. But
I like finding classic horn samples. We have to get him here. I love. Shout out to Showbiz. I saw him a few weeks ago.
definitely,
Actually, he was out that night when I saw you at Galapagos in Brooklyn for
Okay.
the Beat Society. I saw Showbiz that same night. Okay, 2 more features to ask about.
all right.
Loud Hangover. That did
Yeah,
pretty good.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Flex just reached out.
Flex reached out, and actually, Flex reached out. We did the joint. Then I remember we had to go to England to do it. That was the first time Flex ever had been to Europe.
Flex doesn't travel. I thought Flex doesn't really do that.
And
Word.
it had to be a lot for him to travel.
It was because he had to support the record. Yvette Michelle was on the record, and I remember he was like, "Yo, I'd never been over here before," and that was the first time he went. And that was a cool. I forgot how.
Why did you go there? Wait, that was for promo or you recorded there?
Yeah, Tim Westwood, exactly. We went to go do it. He had a show, and we went to go do the song there. And I remember, I think Yvette, she messed it up. I think because that was one of the first times she was performing, and
I always fuck with the remix of that.
yeah,
too,
she
by
wasn't
the way.
swift yet. She wasn't swift.
The remix was hot too. What about 1999? That's a lovely one.
Yeah,
too.
that was a dope joint.
I didn't like it back then.
What's wrong with you?
I swear to God. I
Yeah,
didn't like it
actually,
back then.
I like it more now than I did
But
back
I was
then.
working
for
at
some
Raucous,
reason.
and they're like, "Should we go with this one?" I'm like, "That shit's kind of whack."
Word, yo, it was.
You sometimes. I hate you.
And now
I
listen
can
back.
identify because back then, like I thought it was cool, but I like it more now. And I remember
I listen now. I'm like, "Oh, this shit is crazy."
that day when we did the video had to be one of the top 5 coldest days in the history
As it should be.
of New York. Boy, it
The
was
one-
brick that day.
Are we forgetting any other features or core hooks that you did? I know we are.
Wait, who was the guy? Sorry to cut you off. The guy, was his name
I'm gonna look this
from
up.
Loud Records? Chris, the heavy guy.
Oh yeah, Big Chris. Yeah,
You ever speak to him anymore?
I haven't seen him in a minute. I see Dan sometimes. Dan.
see Dan, who's not heavy
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah, Dan. Yeah, workout Dan.
Chris was the first guy to give me a promo record. He was
Ever.
interning at Loud. He came up to BAU in Long Island and gave me Alcoholics album, the second one, Liquidation.
I liked Chris because I could
He came like your product.
yeah,
manager or
like
something,
I
right?
could tell him things that I needed, and he had the Loud card where all I just had to convince him is that I needed it towards a Loud related matter. Like, yo, Chris, I need these sneakers because if I take a picture, I'm representing Loud, and I gotta have those, so we gotta charge those, or I need this radio.
Yo, I love Wikipedia sometimes, Saif. We got most everything.
Okay.
However,
What did we miss?
well, of course, his song with Rough House
Concerto-
Survivors. Just kidding. I don't know that song.
Oh, yes.
It was a good one?
Oh, my
I don't know it.
God.
Rough House Survivors, straight from the soul.
Yeah, Rough House. They was from Neuro too. That was under
Were
us.
they?
Yeah,
I
they was
never
from
knew
Neuro
who
Show.
the fuck they were.
Mhm.
They had like 2 dope records.
Oh, they had a
Yeah.
few records. I didn't know that one though. How
the
about?
Concerto and the X Minor remix?
We did.
You did it.
Yep.
With the bass line.
Mm-hmm.
Saif, you know what else we forgot? 1L to
Oh,
the
yeah.
OVE.
Yeah, definitely.
One Love remix.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Did you?
Word.
Did
No
you
reason.
for no
Why
reason?
you
Yeah,
love
just
that?
for no reason,
Why you
right?
love
Yeah.
that?
I just one day. What
One day.
Faith Newman, right? Faith Newman.
Oh, hey.
She was doing something with Nas, and they just called me to come one day and do it, and I went and did it. Speaking about Nas, though, one day one of our first shows we did in Queens, and Nas came. I never forget. He came by himself, and he came after the backstage. He was like, "Yo," because you know he had that. "Yo, I really like y'all, man. I'm working on some stuff, and hopefully, man, y'all hear me too."
He's like young, like 19.
Yeah, he's young then. He's young. I remember he had the New York fitted on. He came. He's like, "Yo, I'm working on some."
And
stuff
you remembered
too.
him from that.
Word, and I remembered, and I was like, then later on, I was like, "Yo, that was Nas," and he was like, "Yeah, that was me." I was like, "Wow."
Saif, you don't remember this record because you always sleep on Curious. Mansion in a Yacht with Sadat and Q-Tip, I think.
I remember hearing it.
It was the B-side of I'm Curious. A Loud Hangover. Hold on, there's another good one we forgot. Actual Facts with Lord Finesse.
Yeah.
Off the Awakening.
Yeah, that was a joint. That was a joint.
That was when he was on Penalty.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh, my God.
Let's see. Stay Away from These Nasty Hoes on American.
Oh, yeah. With Joe. Hell yeah.
Let's see. Hold on. There's another one. You and You and You.
Yep. You and you clap your hands.
Frankie Cutlass.
Yeah. Doo-Wop was on that. Oh, that's
Yep.
Doo-Wop's voice, I think.
I want you and you to clap your hands. Yeah, it is Doo-Wop's voice.
Yeah, I remember
Doo-Wop's rhyming on it, but that sample is from a
No,
Doo-Wop
Doo-Wop
mixtape.
rhymes on Boricua's on the set. He rhymes on that too.
I don't remember now.
when we did You and You, I remember that night we did it. I had the Jeep then. And we were supposed to go out after the session to a club. Frankie was there. And I remember we came outside, and my bar was in the middle of the street. Remember you put the bar on there? My bar was bent like the Hulk took the bar. My car was gone. And Frankie's like, well, yo, are we still going to the club? I'm like, yo, my car just got stolen, man. Frankie still wanted to go to the I was like, come on.
He was living back then. He was on his album mode. Let's see. I remember always seeing this one, but never bought it. I would always just be like, I don't know. The Everlast one. Is that any good?
Yeah, the Everlast is cool, man. Eric, I went out there, did it with him. That's when he was, Dante check. That's when Eric was drinking whole bottles of Jameson, and we was.
Eric is Everlast.
Yeah, we was.
So you know him well too.
Yeah, I stayed at his crib, man. Like about a couple of weeks, man. We was out there. That's my dude for life.
Did he get super rich? He got rich from that run, didn't he?
He got some nice bread. He got some when he turned into Whitey Ford, and
he had some moments there.
And I think Dante once again. Got a check from it too. Dante always
that story on the podcast.
will attach
Dante got the
himself.
Grammy.
Yeah.
Nomination, right?
And he showed me the check. He came to Fat Beat.
Yeah, I'm telling you, boy.
He got it and showed it to me. I was like, why is he showing me this $700,000 check?
Yeah. That would be Dante too. You got to do a category of people connected to getting checks.
You should listen to it. Dante did a 2-hour podcast.
I heard that.
Oh, you did hear it?
Yeah, it was dope.
He
that
gave
was
us some
dope.
good stuff.
Yeah.
You may not remember this. Maybe you will. Handle Your Time, the Prince Paul record featuring Sadat.
Yeah,
fucking great. Off of
that
Prince of
was
Thieves.
dope.
It's like my favorite song on the Prince of Thieves.
That album, how he did that whole thing, man.
It's crazy.
Paul is dope.
Big L Games.
Big L. Word.
Wasn't that on your album? That wasn't on the Raucous album?
I don't remember.
Was that on the Raucous album? Yeah, it was on the Big Picture. Wouldn't that have been you doing that?
No, I was just like I wasn't the A&R.
You just sat around listening. Let's be honest. They just sat you down and gave you money and you listened to songs.
Maybe Michael Ron. No, who's that? Who's the kid doing that? Some white kid
who worked on that
He
record.
used to work at Fat Beats and then he left to go be Big L's person. He ran Flamboyant Entertainment.
Oh, really?
I forgot his name.
That's pretty much. That's most of them. There's still a couple of ones in there, but that's most of it. I mean,
yeah.
So do you do a lot of shows now?
Yeah, still do a lot of shows.
Brand
Nubian shows. See, and I wish like Pooh Bah and Jamar, they having passport issues right now, where this is really the time, man. Like
right now,
because a lot of times I'm going to Europe now and I'm going by myself, but like
it's cool.
It's cool.
Check
together.
Yeah.
Like somebody like who's killing like somebody like look at that. People when they be like him. Master Ace.
Right, I heard that.
Yo, Master Ace, man.
Das Effects be doing that.
Das Effects, but Ace, man. I mean, Ace, yo.
He goes every summer. He was telling us.
He's over there now somewhere. He stay going. Either he goes by himself or with EMC. Yeah. He's one that has mastered the new lane. That's what I call. There's a couple of dudes that are in the new lane. Ace, I would consider myself in the new lane. A couple of other people that it's never going to be like it was. But that's cool though. You know what I'm saying? Let the young boys live and let them do what they do. It's still a way you can make money in it.
Bitter at all? Do you get bitter?
I don't, man. Because a lot
of. What was like your biggest mistake? You think?
My biggest.
Or if you had one.
I just think that I wish we could have stayed together a little longer. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that would be my mistake. But as speaking on like the kids that's coming up now, a lot of the old dudes, they're like, yo, it's no classics being made. This and that. How do you know it's no classics being made? Because it's still defining itself. According to this song that my daughter that's 22 years old, this is a classic for her.
Right.
This is her time, and this is her classic. You know, I mean, you want to blame somebody, blame your mother and father for having you 20 years too soon. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, I let the young kids live, man. Like, I love Childish Gambino. You know what I'm saying? I like him. It's certain P is from my old hood. I like him. You know what I'm saying? The kid Schoolboy Q, love him. I think he's dope. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I listened to the lyrics, and, you know, it's just different. I mean, they're making music that they listen to, kids of that age listen to. You can't get mad at them. A lot of dudes get mad. Yo, it's no clap. Maybe not. I don't know.
Nothing, and I hope I'm not insulting you in any way, offending, but there's nothing you feel like, oh, if we would have just did this, I would have been bigger or timeless, or, you know.
I think sometimes.
What's the difference between you and Jay? Like,
I think sometimes I rushed some of my songs. You know what I'm saying? I think if I would have took.
Annoyed in the studio? Like, you didn't
sometimes I wanted to get out of there fast. I think certain things I could have took my time on more.
Hurtful.
I could have put more thought into it instead of just going that way. Because I think like a lot of the big dudes, like, they take their time a little more, man. I think if I would have took my time, sir, when I got arrested and locked up, that didn't help.
What did you get knocked for?
For gun possession. Right. I went for gun possession.
How long ago?
This was in.
Did you go away?
Yeah, I went to the island. I was right on Rikers Island. Only a year. That's all.
It's not a day for me.
Yeah.
An hour.
It was an experience.
Why'd you do a year?
Because actually, I did a year. That was basically my third gun felony. Two of them was supposed to be youthful offenders sealed, where I found out that whenever they do decide when they want to open it, they can open it. Right. But I was offered. On the offer, they offered me 5 years, and I had a lawyer. I fought the case for a year to get a year. Cause I kept going to court, and the lawyer, we was like, if they give me a year, I'll take the year. Because they first offer was 5 years. I was like, I don't know if I can do the 5. I said, I can't do that. But if I get a year, Rikers Island, which was an experience unto itself.
People knew you there, obviously.
Yes, they did, definitely. When I was in there, G-Dep came through one time. G-Dep was in there. But Littles, who's down with the mob and all, he was there. But, just was, man, it was a fight every day.
You were older, though.
Yeah, I was. So,
you were like, why the fuck am I here?
Exactly. It was a fight every day. And I wasn't, not me, but just seeing the fights. And just the boredom of it. It was just boring. You know what I'm saying? Just like, oh my God. I can only imagine
how boring jail is.
Yeah, it wasn't like, so when all them people be making them songs about jail and this, I'd be like, well, y'all must have went to the fly
jail. The adventure of avoiding ass rape has to be something.
You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh my gosh.
That line is, but you're quotable that you just said, the adventure of avoiding ass rape has to be something.
That's a serious line, right?
That's a serious adventure.
Oh, yeah.
And it's probably funny, too, because the fucked up thing is when you're out in the world enjoying it, time goes so fast.
Yeah.
But in jail, time goes slow.
And see, one thing about being in jail, it taught me how to break down time. Where I can go somewhere and somebody be like, well, you got to wait an hour. And I can be like, cool, I'll wait an hour. Because there's literally times when I was in jail where if I was supposed to go to court, I'll be in a room, a cell like this. I may sit in that cell because they have you up at 4 o'clock to go to court. So I sit in the cell from 4 o'clock to maybe 4:35, didn't see the court, and got to go back now. So I done sat in this room all day. Just nothing to read, nothing, just sitting there like, oh my God.
How do you do that?
Yo, shit is crazy. Like, I can't, them people that be in there for years like that, I can see how you come out and be shocked.
Would you just lay there at night and think about being on the road, making rap, and fucking getting your dick sucked by chicks?
Being on the island is a little better because you could come out.
Yeah, well, everybody on the island is, if you're not going home from the island, you going up north.
Right.
So, and nobody's there for over like 2 years or so. So basically, it's like a big, giant high school of males with no women, and you're locked, and you can't move around like you want to.
But I'm saying to be in a cell waiting to go to court is nothing. You're just sitting there. Nothing. When you're in Rikers Island, you could read. You could go watch TV,
definitely. I got read
on the phone. You go outside, work out, like.
Something.
Waiting to go to the court when you're just waiting there?
Yeah, it's crazy.
And then when you get there, they're just like, all right, no, we'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah, simple as
guess
that.
What? They don't give a fuck about your time.
Simple as that. It'd be days when you looking forward to go outside we going to the yard. Yo, y'all ain't going out today. Why? Because I said so. Like, oh, okay. It was crazy, man.
Why'd you have a gun?
Yo, some bullshit, man. I was living up on Broadway, and I had a problem with some dudes up there. I was on 157th and Broadway, right there. Riverside Drive, right there. And I remember I kept having a problem with these dudes. My man and them was doing something probably they shouldn't have been doing. And I took exception to it because they took some money from my man. And they like I had the gun. I wasn't gonna use it on, but I just had it. I remember. I can tell you the exact events of that day. Remember when it was some type of subway strike for like 3 days when the subway wasn't going? I remember it was a strike. I had to get downtown to do something, and I remember I was going to the store to get my stuff out to cleaners, and I had the gun. It was for the house. It wasn't. I had it in my pocket. You know what I'm saying? And I remember I put on the coat, and I was outside, and I was like, damn. Maybe I should go put this back. And I said, nah, ain't not gonna happen. I remember I was walking up Broadway. I went to McDonald's. I went to get my cleaning, and I was coming down the hill. And I remember I seen cops racing, boom, boom. I was like, yo, they going to get somebody. Then I'm like, it was like in 3D, like slow motion. I'm seeing them come up there. Then I'm seeing, and in my mind, I'm like, no. And then they're making a U-turn, and I'm like, no. And then the cars are coming, and I'm like, no. Then one stops like there, I'm like, no. Then another one stops. Then they jump out, and I'm like, yo, say word. And they got me up. Where's that? Where's the gun? This and that. And they,
Wait. Hold on. What did I miss? How did they know you had a gun?
Well, I seen some guys that I had a beef with next to McDonald's. And, like, I didn't say nothing to them that day because we had been going back and forth for a long time, back and forth. I didn't say nothing that day. But they knew, like, one other time I had my gun with me and I pulled it out on them. I shouldn't have did that. That was some stupid shit I did. But they didn't even know that I had it that day. They just maybe figured, but they called the police because I remember when police came, he was like, bring your buddies over there. They called. I'm like, who? Them over there? And I seen them and I was like, damn, man, you know? And it was stupid, man. It was stupid.
Isn't that, like, pardon my ignorance here. I mean, isn't that kind of a violation to just, like, I know you're beefing with someone, but just randomly call the cops?
Yeah, that was some bullshit.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Those hood rules
are just arbitrary because it's like wrestling rules.
All that shit that's drawn out and scripted, like the hood rules of this, and this. They might have been doing that, not knowing he had a gun, just to fuck up his day a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I think they did. And I don't even think they knew that I had a gun. I think
they were just like, call the cops, say this guy had a gun. You're in the hood all day. Call the cops, tell him he got a gun. Fuck him. And then he did have a gun. They were probably like, oh, shit.
And it jammed me, man. I was working in the school. I can't work in the schools no more. That's a gun felony. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, hold on. You were working in the schools
Yeah.
then?
Yeah, I was a teacher's aide in Oberlin.
Did the news pick it up at all?
Yeah. They had it was a wild headline too, because I remember I said wow cowboy goes this and that. And it just said that I had pulled out a gun on some people and I was resisting arrest. I was like, how do I resist arrest? They ran up on me. I had a gun. Here's
the thing that must be so fucking irritating. In addition to everything else, you were walking down the street, just threw on your jacket. You're just going to grab some shit around the neighborhood.
That's all.
And then you didn't get to go home again.
I didn't.
When's the next time you went home from that moment?
I went to go to court. I went to court. What it was, they took me directly from the precinct to court because they took me right to the court and they asked me, if we give you 5 years right now, will you accept that? I was like, hell no. You know what I'm saying? So I went downtown to the Tombs, and I remember it was December 24th. So no, it was the 23rd. So I was trying to get them to speed it up because I knew the next day in the courts, the 24th, Christmas Eve, it was going to be shut down halfway. So then Christmas was that next day, which was a Sunday. Then Monday, nobody was coming in. Tuesday, they starting now. I got out Thursday on my birthday, the 29th of December.
Oh, that's when I got all that time?
Mm-hmm. From the 23rd to the 29th. And I could have went home. It just was nobody was going to do the paperwork for it.
And how much later was your trial?
Now, the trial, I was going back and forth to court for a year. I kept on going back and forth. And it's bugged out because you standing right here, and the DA is right there, and he's basically tearing your ass down, and you standing next to him. You listen like, damn, man. Like, I am right here, man.
It reached you.
You know, it's like,
it wasn't even like that. I was just...
Yeah, we decided that we think he's going to be a menace and this and that. I was like, nah. So I fought that for a year. Then the judge, I'll never forget, he was like, if I give you a year, will you take the year? I was like, yes. He was like, are you ready to go in now? I said, can I get 2 weeks to get my affairs in order? So that's why I was living with a girl, so I wanted to at least have enough so I could pay the rent for her for the next 8 months and, take care of some stuff. And they let me do that, and I came and I went on in and did it.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ.
Yep.
Not for me.
Not for me either, man. That's what I said. That was an aberration. Never again. It was boring. It was one of the worst experiences I had in my life.
Hey, this has been awesome. This has been
awesome than I thought. I was looking forward to it.
I was looking forward to it too, and somehow you over-delivered.
Good. I'm glad it was good.
This has been amazing. So, Sadat has this wine, True Wine Connoisseurs.
Yes,
Look up
True
Sadat
Wine.
X Wine
Yep.
on the internets, or go find it in a store in the New York area or the DMV soon.
Yes.
And it's been a pleasure, man.
Hey, likewise.
We'll be in touch. I might have to get him. I might have to get him to like come out on my birthday and just do one joint.
Oh yeah. You know I'll do that definitely.
And
That's
maybe
a given.
maybe I didn't announce my birthday yet, but Bronson's gonna be there. Maybe on Bronson's set,
Okay.
like he just brings like we might just have to do something, Syfe.
Yeah.
Wow.
We might as well. Ex-Tadas, thank you so much, man.
Hey man, thank y'all.